Here we have our replacement windscreen on an Audi Q5. This is an OEM dealer part. I've already checked the windscreen's correct, and I've already stripped down the interior rear view mirror and surrounding rain sensor, camera, etc. So I'm now stripping down the exterior trims, firstly by removing the windscreen wipers. It's a 15mm nut on this. Just remove both the nuts. It's quite a new car, so if we just flex the elbow, the wiper should just come off. Just flex the elbow and it'll release off the spindle. Do the same on the other side. If after flexing the elbow it doesn't come free, got to use my windscreen wiper puller. Just put it over the wiper, tighten the grip up so that catches it underneath the wiper. And then just tighten the bolt down onto the wiper spindle and that'll release it there. Very useful tool for the toolbox in this job. Just peel the rubber seal off. And you can take the side trims off. Just using a plastic pry tool. Or you can just use your hands. Just pull the trim away for the channel. There's a metal channel down the side down the A-pillar trims. And just separate the scuttle panel from the channel on the bottom of the windscreen. Comes out pretty straightforward. Audis are quite straightforward to strip down. There's not many panels or bolts or connections. So once that's done, I'm going to start cutting the windscreen out now. Cut it out with wire, using a wire cutout tool. So I've pushed my wire feeder through the bond at the bottom corner from the inside, and now I'm just hooking this wire onto the wire feeder, pulling it inside. And I'll just go on the inside. You'll see in a minute. I'm going to take my wire cutout tool and connect it to the windscreen on the driver's side at the bottom corner. Just feed the wire through the hole and tighten up any slack. You can see I've got a plastic dash guards in there just to protect the dash. And now I'm just going to feed the wire all the way around the windscreen. So once it's fed all the way around the windscreen, I just use the wire cutout tool from the inside. It's a ratchet system that just pulls the wire, so it's basically pulling through the glue all the way around and cutting it out. This is a proper wire for removing windscreens. It's square. very thin, but it's a square wire, so it's got sharp edges on it to cut through the bond. So that's it fed all the way around the windscreen. What I'll do is I'll just take it up the side and just tape it up. And that just gives it a hold. So I'm just using the cutout tool to cut the windscreen away along the bottom first. Just using the dash protectors to protect the dash so they don't get any damage. So the wire is just cutting all the way along the bottom of the windscreen there. So once it gets to the end, you've got to move the wiper, sorry, the wire cutout tool once you get to certain parts, just to get the angle. So I've moved it up to the top corner now, so the wire's basically doubling back on itself all the way around the windscreen. As you can see here, I'm just pushing the wire in against the A-pillar trim just to make sure it doesn't get caught on the trim and damage it. So I've got to the top there, and you just got to take it easy when you get to the top. Top corners are really tight, so I'm just moving the cutout tool again, just so you're always getting a better angle when you're using the tool. So as I say, the wire's pulling back on itself. As I say, just making sure that the wire isn't cutting into any trims. So that's me halfway along the top. So I've got the bottom cut out, the driver's side cut out, and halfway along the top. It's just a case of moving the cutout tool as we go around the windscreen. So where the rear view mirror is on this windscreen, there's a big bracket on the glass with plastic bits sticking out of it left, right and centre. It's got quite a few connections on it that I've had to strip down. Now I've got to feed the wire, make sure the wire's not going to catch this plastic housing. So I've just got to watch as I'm taking it along. Just always checking that the wire's not catching on anything, got to damage it, the pinch weld or the head cloth or any brackets or clips. So I'm nearly along to the top corner now. As you can see, it just gets a lot tighter at the corner there. So just take it right to the bottom, just to get that better angle on cutting through the bond with the wire. If it gets too tight, you really need to stop and figure out why it's getting too tight. Sometimes it's just a thick bit of glue and it will eventually come through it. But if it's caught on a pinch weld or anything like that, the wire will probably just snap and you've got to start again, pulling it all around the glass. There is other ways of cutting the windscreen out, different kinds of tools, but on this one I'm just using my cutout tool. The good thing about this is you're really eliminating any chance of scratching the paintwork, whereas if you're using cold knife blades or basically long handled knife blades, you can catch the paintwork. So there's just a little bit of bond still to be cut through here at the bottom corner. I'm just moving the cutout tool again just to get a better angle on it. I've just got to watch that I don't catch between the A-pillar trim and the dash here. It can dig into it, so I'll just protect it, and that's it through. So that's the windscreen cut away now. Just need to remove this excess bit of wire, straight in the bucket, and then just simply lift the windscreen out. So the next stage is to remove the old urethane bond line. Just make sure that the scraper blade is sharp and that it's the correct width. I think I've got a medium blade on this one, 15mm, just so it doesn't catch the A-pillar trim when you're cutting away at it. Just take it easy when you're cutting the glue away, just so you don't scratch any of the paintwork. Always pushing the blade away from yourself. Just put a clean towel on the bonnet there, just so it doesn't get dirty. When you're cutting this bond line back, you basically just take it right back to the bodywork. It leaves maybe about a millimetre urethane bond still on the body, but you want that anyway to reactivate with the new bond line that you're going to be putting on it. So that's pretty much all the glue cut back. So once that's done, we can start preparing the glass and the bodywork. Just getting ready to refit the, just to fit the new windscreen. So we're just going to clean the edge of the glass and clean the edge of the pinch weld with some white spirits. Just take any contaminants off both surfaces. Bodywork's usually quite dirty. Dirt and moisture can get in behind the trims and just gather up. Once that's cleaned, it's just you don't have to wait on it drying or anything. It's just a flash off. Basically dries instantly. So that's the glass and the bodywork and the pinch weld cleaned, and we're just going to apply the final stage before the actual bond goes on it. It's just a black primer all the way around the glass all the way around the bodywork on the pinch weld. Leave it for about 5 minutes to dry. This is going to give your final bond, proper adhesion. If you don't put this on, the glue would still stick initially, but through time it'll just start coming away from the bodywork or the glass, which is obviously going to cause problems. So that's the glass and the bodywork primed, ready for the final stage. So I'm just preparing the glass now, putting the glass lifters on, setting up my one-man lifting tool. Could probably lift this windscreen in without the tool, but it just takes a bit of strain off the back. You'll see how this works in a minute. So that's that set up, and I can just bond the bodywork up now around the pinch weld. So this is a pre-cut nozzle. Most of the windscreen bond you buy, it'll come with a pre-cut nozzle in a V shape, so it's basically a high point, a high thin bead. So when you lay the glass in, it just squashes down and basically makes it watertight. Just take your time. Apply the bead all the way around the windscreen. Now there's obviously going to be joins where I start and stop the bead. Once I've got round the whole screen, the whole bodywork, I'll just join, make sure everything's joined up, so there's no gaps in the glue whatsoever. Probably the most important part of the job, making sure that the bond line's perfect all the way around and all the joins are properly joined up, just so it's 100% watertight once you put the window in. And then we just lift the window in place. So this just hooks on, the piston that's on the window just hooks on and then just swivels round, and I just lay it in place. Once you lay it in, you just make sure that the gap at either side is the same from the edge of the glass to the edge of the A-pillar, and you can't go wrong.